TAQ Capital, technical analysis quickly.
This is not financial advice. I am not a financial advisor. Before taking any action based on the information provided on this channel, it is recommended that you seek the advice of a professional licensed financial advisor.
Let's do this.
Alright, good morning and welcome back to the channel, everyone. It is time for some technical analysis without the hype, FUD, and hopium. And I'm going to try to bang it out here and do it quickly. I'm going to start on Ethereum and then transition to Bitcoin like I often do, because if you don't watch Bitcoin, Ethereum is going to burn you. This right now is the 2-hour chart. You just drop down to the 1 hour. Well, first off, on the 2 hour, you can see that Kijun is here. It's right around 1588. If you drop down to the 1 hour, you can see that the Kijun is here down to around 1578. So I think we're headed to the Kijun at 1578. And you can see, well, actually, let me zoom out a little bit more here. The purple wedge we were in yesterday. So we hit, and this was 9 a.m. and it just took off. Bounced off our fourth hit, and now we're working on our breakdown, which is apparently going to be really long down to this purple line. And then we'll break just below it, and then go right back up again, and that should be to the 1852. We might have a stop somewhere in the middle with a reset and then back up, but we're headed to that 1852 mark. I've already showed you where that came from. You can check out the previous videos for that. But as of right now, we are in this retracing wedge, I guess we'll call it, this teal wedge. So we peaked here, bounced down, hit here, went hit here, here, and now we just keep growing this wedge. And what I'll show you here a 15-minute on how this thing unfolded, because it's a perfect example of changing wedges. It first started like this. We hit here, 2, 3, 4, bounce, breakdown. Then it transitioned into this. 1, 2, 3, 4, bounce, bounce, break up. Then it became this. 1, 2, 3, 4, breakout. And then all we did here was just drag that out, create the new top, because we've already had our breakout, and we know that we're going to go 1, 2. Well, this is a maybe, and I'll explain that in a second. And then either 3, 4, and this is nothing, because we would drag this down here to meet the new 4. Or this one is not a hit, and we're actually coming down to this as our 2, and it'll be something like this. 1, 2, 3, and then 4. I tend to think it's going to be this one back here, but we'll see as it unfolds. But either way, I think we're coming down to the 1577, which is just below this blue line here, and that would actually work with, ooh, I was going to say it'll work with the first one, but it might actually not, because it wants to hit that again. We could wick through the 1 hour Kijun, and if we wick through this, like just come down here, and then I can drag the bottom line down a bit, then that'll give us that wedge. But that's how these wedges morph and change as the candles bounce around and unfold. But each wedge itself was accurate and was true. So long story short here on Ethereum, we're going down, breaking the purple, and then going back up. And like I said, there may be another one of these little resets like this on the way, but I tend to think not, because if you look at it this way, we're going to reshape this purple wedge when it comes down and hits there. So then we'll have 1, 2, 3, and 4 is going to be up there. And that's what our wedge will look like. We'll have a line going from here to there, and we'll have a line going from here to here, and then we'll be going 1, 2, 3, 4 before we break down. So I think this is going to be a fairly slow process getting down to here. But once we do, 1852 is the next stop, and then we're going to be in the meltdown. Looking at Bitcoin, we're in the purple wedge. This was our bullish divergence, which you can see here. On the RSI, it's going up, but on the price action, it's going down. And this is when it's below the 2, below the price action, and below the RSI. If you run it on the top, you're looking for a difference, and that is bearish divergence, but that's not what we've got here. So once that hit, we jumped into this purple wedge. So we knew this was our bottom, and we just did this all the way up. So now we're looking to break out of the purple, and to do so, we're coming down in this teal wedge. Teal wedge hit here, 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 and this hit, this last hit, is the fourth hit on the purple as well. So what it's going to do is what it normally does when it's breaking down. It'll get a nice little bounce, which is currently in the process of, and do something like this, and then break down. So we'll be aiming to get somewhere down in here, and we're going to jump to the Ichimoku cloud on the higher time frames to see where that is. So let's jump to the 1 hour. Well, we just hit the Ichimoku on the 1 hour. 2 hour tells us nothing different. The Kijin is the Tenkin on the 3 hour. Same on the 4 hour. Same on the 5 hour. So we don't have anything telling us anything new, unfortunately. So we're going to have to resort to the wedges. This is the 1 minute chart, which I don't use to make decisions ever, but I'm just saying we need to have a general idea from a wedge standpoint what's happening here. So we peaked here and came down 1. This would have been 2, 3, and then breakout, but the breakout was pathetic because it's essentially this. I don't know if that's just going to count as another rejection. But now when you move this here back up, we are off of this spot, so it becomes 1, 2, 3, and now we got to get a fourth one down here. So we're going to have to adjust this wedge to free up this hit, so we have our fourth hit down here. And then we're going to be looking at a breakup, and that's the bounce that I'm talking about. And then we'll break out of the purple and come down. Because, I mean, when you're on the 1 minute chart, this looks like we're breaking out right now. And we very well may be. This may be like this. And this is like that. This was our first test, and this one is just going to go straight up and out, and then that's our breakout. And then, if, say, we end up here by the 19,160 mark, we can then drag that up there, and we have 1, 2, 3, and then 4 will be down here. So this bounce will look like this. And then we'll have to redraw it again from there, because this will now be down there. Whoops. And then we'll be breaking up and out of the top of that one, eventually at some point. But depending on what's happening on this, I mean, that point could, as it bounces like this, could be way down here. And then this line will continue out down here, and then we'll break up out of here. And this will become the third hit on the new purple wedge. And I say new because we'll then be dragging this from here down to there. And then we'll have 1, 2, 3, and 4 will be that 21.2 mark that I'm hoping for. So this could be a very steep run up, and that may happen here. I would say it's, this week, possibly even before the weekend. Actually, I'm going to change that. That's too steep. It would be this 21.2. So then you're looking at 1 here, 2 here, 3 wherever this ends up bottoming out, 4 at the 21.2, and then coming down and out. Yeah, so this is no longer a hit here, which is normally the case when you redraw these wedges when they're that big. So that's what I anticipate for Bitcoin. And like I said, you want to watch Bitcoin here, because if we reset all this and you zoom out here, this blue wedge that we see coming down here, we've been in since August 19th. So we have a hit, 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 hit. That's our 4. And then this is the swoop down, break up and out. And we're in the middle of the break up and out. So I'm under the impression here, because the blue is going to govern more than the purple and the teal, because it's bigger, it's been going on longer. I don't think that this breakdown, this bounce out, is going to be too far down before we start going back up to build that momentum to break through this. So I would be mindful of what Bitcoin's doing if you're in Ethereum, for sure. I mean, always be, but right now it may only pop out for a second right here and then take back off again. So if this only pops out for a second and you go back and look at Ethereum, how does that translate to Ethereum? Because, I mean, it may only get us down to here, which is within the purple wedge, before we take back off again. So we may not break out of this now. This may be a breakout once we've already hit the 1852. So this could come down here, turn around, and just take off. And if it takes off like this, what does that look like for us? So let's just use 1852 as the point. I've just been looking at this. I don't think it's possible because 1852 is here. I mean, and this can't do that. Or at least theoretically it can't. Maybe it does. Because it'd have to be in one giant candle on the 1 hour, and I don't see that happening. You would actually have to skip all of this. So this would have to be your first hit. This would have to be your second. Then this, if it does what I suggested, is 3. And then you'd be coming up here to 4. So then your wedge would actually look like this. And you'd have that going on for down and breaking out. However, to skip this would be very unusual because this is the hit. That's the first hit off of the purple. This is not, sorry, the pink, the hit off of the pink, the bigger wedge that we're in that runs up here like this as well. And that's why it begins the purple wedge. This is second hit on the purple. So this just might be really freaking slow as it comes down here. It just might be really slow, and Bitcoin moving even slower. Because if Bitcoin moves even slower, you know, this balance could take a while Ethereum is unfolding. And as it moves slowly like this, you might even get a double bounce. It could even bounce all the way up to up here before it breaks down. So this bounce just could be very slow moving, like the whole rest of the day. Maybe we don't see anything until 8 a.m. Eastern Standard Time tomorrow morning, something along those lines. And that would give Ethereum the time that it needs to play out to come down below this purple to then take back off. So that's my prediction, below the purple up to the 1852. But that's it for me today, guys. I don't want to drag this out anymore. I hate breaking the 10-minute mark. If you find this valuable, please like, share, and subscribe. And I appreciate you watching. I'll catch you guys in the next video.